forgotten as well. So yes, I'm going to switch the scene up now, and we'll be able to see what's going on. There we go. All right then. Hello guys, and welcome to a 1v1 here between Spring and Tulkas. Now this game has been played in the balance patch, which was made by Carlos Ferdinand, a very well-known and long-standing member of the AOC community. This was for one of their tournaments, which they made a while back, called the Arabian Conquest. And, well, I'm looking forward to seeing how this one goes. Apparently, these games are supposed to be pretty good. So, let's see exactly what these players do with these balance changes. And I've got to admit, I'm not too familiar with the balance changes, but I know it makes some very interesting changes to the gameplay, and we'll see if this game is anything different to what we could probably expect to see from a standard Arabia matchup. So up to the northeast of the map in the blue, we have got Spring. He's playing as the Mongols, and you'll probably know Spring. Spring did take part in the ZeroEmpires Invitational. In fact, he won the ZeroEmpires Invitational, and he is, well, one of the best players that plays AoE HD at the moment. And yeah, he's playing as the Mongols up to the northeast, and his opponent in the green, we've got Tulkas, and he's playing as the Vikings. So this is a really interesting matchup actually, because we've got the Vikings versus the Mongols on Arabia, and that's kind of mad because, as we all know, the Vikings, not really the best land civ, especially not for Arabia. It's a very, very uncommon and very rare to see the Vikings ever played on Arabia, let alone against a Mongol player in a non-mirror matchup. So I think Tulkas has got a massive, massive challenge on his hands here playing as the Vikings. But with the balance patch in play, with the Carlos Ferdinand balance patch in play, maybe there will be some fundamental changes that could make this game much more viable for the Viking player. And once this game is over, we'll actually have a quick look at all of the balance changes that he's actually made and put into place, so that we can get a better idea of exactly what it is that's going on. So Mongols, obviously, with their faster hunt speed, definitely going to have the edge in terms of speed. If we check the tech tree, it should tell us if anything's changed. Yes, hunters work 40% faster. That is actually, in standard AOC, 50% faster. So the Mongols' hunt bonus has actually had a nerf of 10% in this balance patch. And that does mean that their speed in the Dark Age, going up to the Feudal Age, has been slightly debuffed, slightly nerfed a little bit. And that can mean for, well, it can lend itself to a slightly slower feudal time and maybe a little bit of a slower scout rush. Now, a very popular strategy with the Mongols is a 20 or 19 population feudal age, and then going straight into scouts, taking full advantage of just how quickly these villagers will eat these boar, and also how quickly they'll eat the deer as well, which is exactly what Spring is trying to take advantage of now by pushing this deer in towards the town centre. So obviously he'll take advantage of that, and whether or not he's going to be able to pull anything off, we'll see. Obviously, if he goes for a drush, that could be much better for him. But the downside with drushing as the Mongols is that if you're pushing the deer towards your TC with your scout, then you've not scouted your opponent, and your drush may go completely the wrong way, in which case you are pretty screwed, and you've got to be very careful of that happening. So Spring will just push these deer in to take advantage of that food gathering rate bonus, and he will most likely then go to the feudal age on about 20 to 21 population. I imagine it's probably going to be closer to 21 than it is to 19 here, because of that slower gathering speed now, the little debuff there. And then he'll probably go for scouts on this map. Now, the real interesting play here is going to come from the Viking player, because the Vikings are not really that equipped for Arabia. Their only real option here is to go for archers and crossbow, and even crossbows have been nerfed in this balance patch. In fact, the crossbow upgrade now costs a lot more gold and wood compared to what it used to, and I will tell you the exact amount. We will have a quick look at the tech tree. Hopefully this doesn't mess up the game or anything, or mess up the stream or anything, while I check the tech tree quickly. The crossbow upgrade, where am I looking? Right about here. It doesn't say. Okay. never mind. We'll have to wait and see when it's in the when it's being researched or something. But yeah, the crossbow price or the cost of the crossbow upgrade has been increased. So that does mean that it is a little bit more costly to get out crossbows straight away, and I think it might even mean that bodkin arrow is more a viable first choice before the crossbow upgrade, which certainly changes things around slightly. So we've got Spring. Whoa, okay. So I was wrong. He's going up on 18 population. Wow. I actually thought that that nerf to the gathering speed here would actually make quite a big impact. But Spring going up on 18 population anyway. Wow. Going to be up very, very quickly to the feudal age. And he's going to be looking, of course, to do some scouts or something like that. And Spring even missing a couple of sheep here, but Tulkas being the gentleman, letting Spring know where they are. But Tulkas here is walling up, and we need to talk about Tulkas a little bit more because we've not really discussed all too much about the Vikings on Arabia here. Now, the Vikings not the fastest civ in the world. I mean, they have decent economy, but they don't really have anything that gives them a lot of speed, such as the Mongols. And in Arabia, it's all about speed. The Huns are fast because they don't need the houses. They're obviously, it makes it a lot easier to focus on other things instead of building houses all the time. The Mongols are incredibly fast because of that hunt speed, but the Vikings don't really have anything like that. And I'm going to be interested to see exactly what they're going to go for, and I think it's going to be archers into crossbows. That does make the most sense, with perhaps some mangonel backup. But the difference here is that the Mongols have fantastic cavalry archers, they have fantastic knights, good knights, they have good crossbows as well, and for the Viking player, it might be quite tough to go against that, but we will see. It looks like, though, Spring is going to mess Tulkas up here, and Tulkas will lose a villager, but Tulkas doing a pretty large and extensive wall across the middle of the map, and this is obviously costing him a little bit of time. I know for a fact that walls now cost 3 wood instead of 2 in comparison, and that of course will be a little bit more costly for him to do that wall off here, but it might just be what he needs to protect himself from Spring's scouts, which are on the way out already. Now, he does have a scout inside of Tulkas' base, so we can see what's going on behind the walls, but Spring now, when he sees that this is fully walled, might quickly change sort of direction a little bit, and maybe slow down on those scout cavalries, so that he can actually, go up to the castle age. When you see your opponent walling off like this, you're thinking to yourself, damn, they are probably going to be fast castling or something like that. They're going to wall themselves in and they're going to go up to the castle age. And Spring is probably going to assume that that is what Tulkas is going to do. Tulkas, though, going up on 23 population, nothing too huge. He's not going up on 25, 26, which would indicate a fast castle. So this wall off from Tulkas could just be purely precautionary, and I think he might end up doing a bit of a feudal rush as well, or making some feudal units here, because he wouldn't be able to fast castle off the back of this. He's not got enough eco here to do that, and he's putting up a barracks on the front now as well. And we'll see if Spring notices that. Indeed, he does see the barracks. And obviously the upgrade timing here as well is a pretty big indicator that Tulkas is actually not going to fast castle this one. But what is Spring going to do in response? Well, at the moment he's not making any more scouts. He does have good map control. He sees exactly what Tulkas is up to, and he's got a higher score, mostly because of that scouting. I mean, his scout cavalry do have more line of sight, and that means that they can see or explore the map much faster, giving him a higher exploring score. And also, with the scout cavalries out on the map, that's giving him a little bit of military score as well. So I wouldn't be too alarmed that the scores are about 200 difference at this stage. But Tulkas here, building an archery range, and of course, Spring will see that. It's pretty obvious he's going to see that, and Spring is not going to be too concerned, I don't think, about the castle age just yet. He's putting up an archery range of his own, and he has read the game quite well, assuming, of course, that Tulkas will be making some feudal army. He's also got quite a few villages on gold here, well, just the 4, which is enough for archers from one range, but there is a second range going up as well, so Tulkas will probably be sending more villagers over to take gold very soon, aiming to go for 7 on gold, probably sending 1 more over from the TC, and this villager here, which is building this house and range. So Tulkas, interesting wall off. Now, walls in this game are incredibly strong. They counter pretty much everything until the late Castle Age, or the early Castle Age, depending on how aggressive your opponent is. Now, the biggest downside to walls is that you're giving up map control. You're giving your opponent the possibility to kind of see what's going on around the map without being pressured. There's no pressure for Spring here at all. He's got Tulkas on lockdown at the moment. And Tulkas, his only redeeming factor really is, of course, that he is safe behind the walls, and once that he gets up to the Castle Age, he's probably going to attempt to break out and then regain map control relatively quickly. So, double archery range, 2 archers at a time, and Tulkas at the moment really, quite behind in military count. Obviously, Spring here already got a couple of archers out on the map, and Tulkas is only just getting out his first archers as well, not to mention the fact that Spring also has these scouts, and Tulkas is continuing to wall behind this as well. Each piece of this palisade wall costing 3 wood. That's a lot of resources that he's sinking into these walls now, making them slightly more costly than in the original game, where the walls would only cost 2 wood. If you weren't using the balance patch, that's how much they would cost anyway. Tulkas then, maybe buying himself a little bit of time here. Maybe he's just waiting to get some archers out. But now Spring's got some archers in here as well. It's going to make it more difficult for Tulkas to actually wall this up. He's trying to get these villagers to complete the walls. But they are just getting taken down by Spring's archers. So apparently Spring's skirmishers were bugged out. Not sure what that's about, but I guess we didn't see it. Anyway, what was I going to say? Yes, tower coming up on this gold at the front for Spring, and I don't know if that's really necessary yet. I guess it's better to be safe than sorry, but there's definitely no sign of Tulkas' army even breaking out of these walls. I guess Spring doesn't have full visibility of the map. But it does seem to me like that tower did come in a little bit early, and that will of course slow down Spring's 2nd and 3rd TC once he gets up to the Castle Age, because he's not taking any stone just yet. However, it certainly looks like Spring will be going up to the Castle Age fairly soon. If we look at his archery ranges, they are idle. He's got a lot of farms back here as well, and he's almost at the 800 food he needs to go up to the Castle Age. So I think what he's done here is he's seen these walls from Tulkas. He's assumed that Tulkas is probably going to be doing some form of fast castle build behind this, and that is indeed not the case. I mean, Tulkas is actually making quite a lot of archers at the moment, and this could catch Spring off guard, because Spring, I don't know if he's seen the archers. Of course he's seen the 2 ranges, but he's not seen how many archers Tulkas has. And at the moment, Tulkas could easily clean up this army from Spring. He's got fletching done, and he's got much more in numbers as well. So Spring now clicking up to the Castle Age. Tulkas knows that he's up, and that's obviously due to that score dip there. But Tulkas could easily push out now, because Spring really doesn't have much defense going on. He's got this 1 tower, and he's got this tiny army at the front, which Tulkas could clean up very easily. And this is the opportunity that Tulkas needs to do a little bit of damage to Spring and regain a little bit of map control before Spring goes up to the Castle Age and takes it right back again. Because once that Castle Age upgrade comes in, we can guarantee that Spring will be starting to make some knights, as he's doing bloodlines already, and maybe even some cavalry archers. He's got 2 archery ranges already, and he doesn't actually have any archers. So going for crossbows here is kind of stupid, if you ask me. And I don't think he's going to do that at all. So Spring, bloodline's done, 2 ranges up, and quite an interesting wall off at the back of his base here as well. Now, Spring's map actually isn't that nice. If we have a look, I mean, he has got very forward gold, and he's got no easy wall off as well, because his flanks are very open. This gold back here, just probably even worse than the one at the front, to be honest. So Spring, I think, really glad that he put this tower up, and he is walling around the base of that now as well, so that Tulkas can't actually sit at the bottom of this tower and kill his villagers. But nice for Tulkas, getting 1 villager already, and obviously Spring now up to the Castle Age. Maybe a little bit risky had Tulkas attacked a little earlier, but Spring should be comfortably able to push this back now. 2 cavalry archers on the way out, knight on the way out as well, and cavalry archers are cheaper now as well in this in this balance patch. I think they cost 10 less gold each, costing just 60 gold instead of 70 each, which certainly makes them a little bit more viable for a civ like the Mongols, which have faster cavalry archer firing speed anyway. So the Mongols cavalry archers, now they're slightly cheaper, definitely a more viable option, and one that we could see a lot more often should this balance patch be played a little more. But this army from Tulkas now probably going to get taken down. The knight able to tank most of that damage. Now it's got bloodlines done, and the cavalry archers, skirmishers, able to chase these units down. Fletching and bodkin arrow done for Spring already, and of course he didn't need to bother with that crossbow upgrade because he had no archers to upgrade anyway. So Tulkas now must be going up to the castle age. Indeed he is. He's on 50%, and he's got a stable back at home, and of course he's still got those 2 ranges. So I think Tulkas probably going to add a couple of knights to support his main army, and then go for crossbows once he gets up to the castle age. And I think those knights for Tulkas are going to be incredibly important. They're going to be able to take down any enemy mangonels or any of Spring's mangonels that he may add. And knights are just very versatile. They've got the speed that you need to be able to defend if you're being attacked at one area of one location of the map. They've got the speed to get to their opponents quickly and harass their eco, and they've got the speed to get in and take out any mangonels that could be coming in from the other person. So Spring, Siege Workshop at the front, and I'm not surprised at this Siege Workshop at all. Spring, of course, full map control, easily into the castle age way before Tulkas, and he's obviously got a superior army at this stage as well. So this Siege Workshop in this forward location, it makes a lot of sense. Spring can start adding in mangonels and rams, start taking down these palisade walls, and really pile the pressure onto Tulkas very, very quickly. But Tulkas making a break for it, coming out here with his archers, going to re-wall up that behind, and crossbow research coming in, and no knights just yet. But Tulkas, a lot of gold in the bank, so he can keep those units coming out just fine for now. Question is, will he put up a second TC quickly, or is he going to wait? Yeah, look, TC on the front here, and that's going to of course help to protect this gold if Spring does break through these walls. That TC is basically this watchtower, only it serves a double purpose in creating villagers as well. So Tulkas at the moment behind in the upgrades. He's missing the +1 defense on the crossbows, but he has got decent numbers there, and he has got bodkin arrow as well. But yes, Spring is definitely further ahead at this point in time. And oh, mangonel from Spring, really nice attack ground, and Tulkas here going to split to get out the way, but he took a lot of damage on those crossbows, and Spring now just got to come in and clean that one up with those cavalry archers. There is no question about it, but those crossbows are doomed. That faster cavalry archer firing speed as well, making it even easier there for Spring to just clean up. And Tulkas really pushed back now, really on the back foot, and he is, well, I don't know if he's going to be regretting the second TC. He's really struggling for food at the moment. He's got a lot of gold. He needs to redistribute his economy slightly, and he needs something to deal with these mangonels. And for that, he's got a single knight, and like I say, very little food income. He needs to get a few more farms out. He needs to make sure his economy is balanced, because that is going to be a big problem for him as Spring sits on this hill and pushes down this wall. Definitely not good for Tulkas at this stage, as he's losing this range as well, which again, it's going to cost him wood to replace that, and losing your military production buildings is really terrible stuff. But there is 2 mangonels, or there are 2 mangonels coming out from Tulkas now, but the cavalry archers are in, and the problem with the mangonel is that it will not kill all the cavalry archers in one shot like it would, or a mangonel would for the crossbows. Those cavalry archers, they took 2 mangonel shots and they still survived, and that's because one was uphill and the other one landed in there. But cavalry archers with 70 health, mangonels doing 40 damage, you do the math, the cavalry archers will survive. There is another mangonel coming out for Tulkas though, and if he can make this shot count, then he could do a huge amount of damage to Spring, managing so far to take 1 down. And there we go, it's released. Let's see what he can do with it. Let's see what he can do. Oh, he's going to get Spring's Mangonel. That's good. Now, if he just get a shot onto these cavalry archers, then Tulkas could make this work. Nice attack round from Tulkas. He's using his villagers to repair it. And Mangonels are fantastic because they really can just change or turn a game around. Spring getting back here, though, looking for some villager kills. That Mangonel not going to let these cavalry archers go. They are taking a lot of a big beating at the moment. They've got very little HP left, and one more Mangonel shot will take them down. But Spring getting quite a few villager kills back here, which is exactly what he needs at this stage in time. But don't think that it's all over for Tulkas just yet. Tulkas is only 300 score behind. Make that 400. But if he can take these cavalry archers down, if he can defend with the Mangonels, he will be fine for now. The problem is, obviously, he is losing quite a few villagers back here, compared to Spring, who's lost nothing just yet. But Spring is only on 1 TC. All this aggression is coming from 1 TC. So Tulkas, if we actually have a quick look, may even have more villagers still. He has got 4 extra villagers on the map. So Tulkas at the moment, he's behind in the military, but his economy is way ahead of Spring's. Not just because he has more villagers. A nice shot on that Mangonel, by the way. Not just because Tulkas has more villagers, but because the Vikings get free handcart and free wheelbarrow. So his villagers are much more effective than Spring's at this stage. He hasn't had to invest those resources into the wheelbarrow and handcart upgrade. And Tulkas now, with these Mangonels, might just be able to defend. Oh, he's got to be careful, though. He's going to suicide his own villagers if he's not careful. But yeah, these Mangonels might just be able to defend. I think Tulkas really needs to plug this gap, though. That's the problem at the moment. Mangonels are not going to be able to keep up with the cavalry archers at this rate. And they're going to keep coming in if that hole doesn't get plugged. So Spring sitting at the back here, killing more and more villagers. But I think Tulkas is making a little bit of a comeback already here. These Mangonels doing work, let's be honest. And they are just going to clean up Spring's army as Spring just almost throws these cavalry archers away now, which is pretty bad stuff indeed. But Spring still has this map control. He's still got Tulkas really defensive. And he's still just, able to walk straight through this hole in Tulkas's wall. But like I say, Tulkas is not out just yet. He really does have the stronger economy with 8 extra villagers and 3 TCs. It was a risky strategy, a risky play, going for those extra TCs so quickly. And Tulkas has to be very careful now, because these knights will be trying to focus down these Mangonels. I want to see him get this hole plugged up, because if he doesn't plug that hole, it's just making it easy for Spring to just get in here and kill off his villagers. He's going to end up wasting a lot of resources making these villagers at this rate if they just get destroyed or killed as soon as they leave the TC. So Tulkas, losing 1 Mangonel, but he's still got 3 here to defend. This TC looks like it might go down. He could get the repairs on it though, and he has got 60 stone. But yeah, cavalry archers there to kill off the villagers, and Tulkas may as well just run. I mean, these villagers are just getting suicided there, absolutely suicided. And that is really, really bad news for Tulkas as he sits and loses those villagers so quickly. He can't deal with the sheer amount of Mangonel on this hill. And I don't know, he should have just ran, I feel. He should have just ran away from that. These villagers are absolute cannon fodder at the moment. And they can't repair the TC faster than these Mangonels can take it down. Which means that it's just a constant battle to keep this TC alive. And he's out of wood now as well. Tulkas getting out microed with the Mangonels also. And that is really, really bad news. Spring, if he takes this TC down, it's just going to make it even easier for him to push in. And he's killed off another 2 Mangonels. Wow. Spring's micro here, fantastic, and his cavalry archers, so much longevity with that +2 defense as well. Tulkas just laughing in the chat there, and his economy has gone to shambles as well. A lot of idle villagers back here, and the front section of his base absolutely flattened. Back at home now, Spring has got up his 2nd TC. Obviously, that all-out aggression has certainly paid off, and now he's got a huge military advantage. He can kind of sit back and let his economy work up a little bit, because he doesn't have to worry too much about being harassed at this stage. There's no chance at all that Tulkas will be sending a counterattack across the map. So I think I think Spring's really got this game in the bag at the moment. And Tulkas here, a lot of villagers taking stone. Looks like he's trying to get up a castle, and he's not giving it up just yet. So maybe he thinks there is still life left in this one. We will see. What's he doing here? A lot of villagers going out to the front, perhaps going to suicide at this rate. But Tulkas 2 for 1 on those mangonels, but it's just not enough. I mean, he's really struggling to take down Spring's mangonels. And there's the GG from Tulkas. Well played by Spring, actually. Very well played indeed. Now, could we really have expected the Vikings to win that? I don't think so, realistically. I mean, going into that, Vikings versus Mongols is a very, very tough matchup for the Vikings. And the Mongols, with their speed, that enabled Spring to get the map control. The Mongols, with their cavalry archers just being so hench, and with them being cheaper now in this balance patch, just really gave Spring that opportunity to play this, almost like the Huns. And he was able to keep his units massed up. I think the Spring was a little bit sloppy in places. He did lose quite a few cavalry archers unnecessarily, but the bottom line is he really hurt Tulkas' eco. And even though Tulkas was up to 3 TCs and he had the villager population lead, he was losing them faster than he could make them. And that was just a downhill spiral from there. So we're going to go to another game in